Hello, welcome to Best of Basics workshop.
Part 2.
So as we say in the last workshop, our mission is to get lost students to become successful project developers. And the way that we want to do this is by bringing your ideas to life. In this workshop, we will focus on two important things. One is creating your coding plan to make sure you will learn MATLAB beyond this workshop. And the other part is creating a MATLAB app. In this way, we are going to combine the technical knowledge of MATLAB with, with the additional knowledge of commitment, planning, and joining MATLAB to your motivation and objectives in life. So now we're going to start with the plan. The first thing you need to do to plan your coding journey is to give yourself a space. What do we mean with a space for coding? Is creating a space in your computer to have all your MATLAB scripts. So what we recommend you to do now before starting this coding workshop is to go to your documents folder or any place that you feel comfortable and create one folder called MATLAB scripts. Please let us know how you are doing there. And inside this MATLAB scripts folder, create 3 folders called projects, practice scripts, and functions. In projects, you will create one folder for each project you develop. So just with the workshop that we are doing today, you will have one project in your projects folder. And with the project that we did last time, you will have another project in your projects folder. Then you have the practice scripts folder. We will be doing some sample codes that you can add to this folder. And lastly, we have the functions folder. This one we won't be using today. However, this is a good folder to have to include all the cool, important functions that you have created. So for example, you create a function that calculates a standard deviation, even though MATLAB already does that. But imagine you create one folder for this, one function for this, you can add this function in the folder, in the functions folder, in a way that you can always access it easily. Okay, so let me know if you finish creating these 3 folders so we can begin the workshop today.
Let's give it a second.
Okay, I think we're good now.
We're good to go?
Okay. Yes, and another thing, I will be answering all your questions throughout this workshop in the chat, and Tomas will answer at the end, and the most important questions I will ask to him to answer during this time.
All right. Thank you, Samantha. Let's go. So, welcome to interfaces. So, everything that's on a computer, everything that's with a code requires some kind of interaction between you and the code, but you cannot literally interact with the code, right? And well, even that this MATLAB script is a representation of the code is actually a binary, some binary code is stored in electrical transistors within your computer. So you always need some kind of interfaces. There's no direct access between you and the code. So that's why we get an interface. So in this case, what we'll do today is a graphical interface, something called GUI, Guided User Interface, a graphical. So a graphical user interfaces, it's or also called a GUI. It's a kind of interfaces that uses these basic basic elements. So if you see most of the applications you use and most of the programs, they use these kind of things. WhatsApp, Instagram, email, everything has, buttons, text entries, number entries, some sort of sliders, some things where you see graphs, you see images, right? So all of these are graphical user interfaces, and they are built from basic components. So in itself, a GUI, it's a combination of graphical components with multiple characteristics or properties. So each of these components that we showed before, they have their own properties. And now, when a user, so a programmer or self, interact with a component, the code uses a function. So if I click a button, then something happens. That something that will happen, it's something that you program in a callback function, which is ran in this case through MATLAB. We're using GUIs in MATLAB. So how do you actually do a GUI? What does it mean to do a GUI? Well, first you need some components. MATLAB will lead you to a blank canvas, right? And on the left in the app designer, you have some components. So in MATLAB, pretty easy, you just drag and drop components. In this case, I just drag a little axis, plotting axis, and you can see that there are many more components in the list. So a component. So what you're looking on the left, if you focus on the left here, it's just a component, that with a title, horizontal label, vertical label, some lines and text. All right. So MATLAB has the property inspector. So it shows this. All right. It's with a text entry. I can go and change the title. With it, I can just type up my text and change the title. But if this that MATLAB is showing you, it's actually some code. And if we go to the code, and if you want to interact with these labels using the code, you have to go to here. So every single of your elements, it's under this category called app. To go to the next category, the next subdivision. And now the default name in MATLAB for a plot axis is UI axis, right? User interface axis, this one right here. So if you put another dot in the UI axis, you are going to see different properties. All the properties we talked before, they are on the UI axis, in the UI axis category. So you can change them this way. If you do this in MATLAB, you're going to get a different title with the code, not graphically, but with the code. All right, then. What is the second step for doing GUI? Now, let's say you already drew some components, okay? Right, and let's say you change the names, you change stuff here and there. Now, switch the code and create callbacks or callback functions. So these callbacks are what will make these callbacks are what will, make something happen right after you interact with the code, with the GUI. So let's say you push a button, let's say you move the slider, let's say you select something in a menu or stuff, then a callback function will be called. You can modify these functions to do different kind of things. So a simple callback function. If the button is pushed, I want the function to read the slider value, right? To read the value on the slider that says amplitude, and then plot the data. We will see what's the data, but the simplest form of a callback function. In general, within the app designer, which is the MATLAB app creator, you have all your elements in this manner, right? App UI axis, app plot button, amplitude slider. These are the default names that MATLAB uses. So Then you have here inspector. Here's a property inspector. We talked a few slides ago, right? Where you can see the title, you can see the, the name of the string, the X label, Y label. But now you can go to the callbacks and you can assign a callback function each time something happens, right? So if I hit plot button and then hit add a callback function here, I will get this, a blank function that says plot button pushed. All right, when the button is pushed, then I want this lines of code. Right now it's empty. We're gonna fill it out. And this, it's a simple function, right? So value, I want it to read the amplitude slider value. So here's the thing. The amplitude slider, right? This slider right here, when you have, something that you can move, from 0 to 100 or anything, it's just a, it's just another element with its own properties. So each time you change the slider, the place of the slider, it will change one of its property. The property that's going to change is a property called value. So you're going to make, a variable. You can call it this, whatever. I decided to call it value, right? It's easy. So I want to go to app every time you go to app, then, go into the next category and see, all right, amplitude slider. Okay. And then I want, within the amplitude slider, I want to just know one of its properties. I don't want to know the size. I don't want to know the color. I want to know the value. So property called value, and I make this equal to my variable. Then I'm going to plot the data. With the data, we're going to use this function of MATLAB. It's a native function. You can check it out in Google to see how it works. But it's called peaks, right? It's called peaks, and then I'm going to multiply it by the value I find. But before that, in the plot, I have to specify which plot I want MATLAB to be plotting in. So if you just put plot and these value times peak, it's gonna pop up a new plot, and you don't want that. You want MATLAB to use the pre-existing plot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it the name of the plot we want it to graph the new data. In this case it's called UI axis, as you see before. And we're gonna change the limits so we can see all of it. You're gonna see why we have to change the limits. All right, now let's go to MATLAB. So we're gonna go to MATLAB. If you see the zip file, do you guys have the zip file? Just in case, we can resend the zip file in the Zoom link right now.
Yes.
All right, Tomas Baca entered. Hello. So hello, Tomas. We're just sending the Zoom link. I'm sorry, the zip file in the chat. So we're just gonna do our first interactive part of the workshop. So let me know. No, that's not the zip file. It's so okay. Please it does. All right, the last one we just sent, that's the zip file you guys need. So you click to download the file. I hope you guys can see my screen. Let's go into codes. I'm gonna make MATLAB scripts. Awesome, not responding. Yeah, happens from time to time. I don't know what this happens. Anyways, I already had it downloaded. So if I come to MATLAB, all right, I come to here is what should be inside your zip file, right? You have an app data. We're gonna use that for our project later. You right now, you don't care about this MATLAB script. We'll go for the sample app. All right, so we double click this guy. Oh, and it's gonna open the app designer, as you can see right here. Okay, so guys, let me know if you can, through the chat or anything, if you have this open in the zip file. It's gonna be something really easy, but let us know through here, through the chat, if through the chat if you're looking at this. So trying to open. All right, we'll just wait. We have no hurry. Yeah, sometimes the app designer, when you don't use it, you haven't used it recently, it takes, you know, sometimes to initialize. So let's just give it a second. So just while you're opening, let me give you guys a quick overview of the app designer. As you can see, this is what I showed you before. Here you have some elements and you can, you know, drag and drop them into here, right? You have access, checkboxes, labels, images. You can have everything around here. All right. So once you're here, you always have these panels, this panel you see on my right. So this is just the figure. So this is the canvas, the UI figure. It's the actual canvas in which the app sits in. Now, for example, you have the UI axis. I can do this by either clicking its name or by clicking the actual plot. And here I'm in the property inspector. So this is the inspector, and you guys can see all the properties. This is the main properties. And for example, here's the title. I can change the title through here, and it's gonna change right here. And I'm gonna bring it back. Oh, not here. So let us know. Well, we'll start checking the chat if you guys get the zip file open. And then every time I'm in the GUI, I can go check. This is the design view, right? The graphical part. But then you can go to the code view, the coding part. So all of this is code that you cannot access. This is code that MATLAB has done by himself, and just happens that you don't have access to it. It's a code that you need for the app to run, just the app to run.
Yeah, so what the app designer in MATLAB does is create all that code instead of you doing it. So it creates all that code just based on what you put in the design view. And that's why it's very convenient for us that we are engineers and not programmers. So we can focus on making it work for what we need.
Yeah. So Thomas, just open the file called sample app -sb, and that's just going to open the app designer by itself. So I see Thomas is trying to open it, and William, were you successful in opening the file? All right, just once again, this is the app designer.
Okay, Thomas says got it.
Got it. All right. William, any, finger up, finger down? Nothing yet? Okay. So can you describe, are you getting Your MATLAB swanky? Yeah, that tends to happen. Okay, so just so just turning, it's gonna be something really easy. Just 3 lines of code, and you can get back at that anytime. So we're in this app. So here's something we want to do. What we want to do is make, when we click this plot button, we want that the value I choose for this slider, it's red. I want to read the slider value, and I want to use that to plot here the function peaks, the MATLAB function peaks. So what is going to make everything happen, it's when I click the button. So when I click plot button, I want all of this stuff to happen. So I come to code view. All right, so I want the button to be the one with the callback function. I want the a function that happens when I click the button. So I come here, app plot button. Okay, I come here, and here are all the specifications. You can change the font of the words. You can change the size of the font. Now I'm gonna go to callbacks, not inspector. I'm gonna go to callbacks. I have no callback function assigned yet to this element. So I just come here and add function callback. All right, here's what I showed you before. Okay, I have this function. So every time I plot, I push the function, that I push the button, I'm gonna get this callback, these lines of code, whatever they are, run. So I'm gonna go back to my PowerPoint and see, okay, so we have this value, it's equal to the slider value. All right, so we come here and click value. It's just a word, just the name of a variable, and I'm gonna make, okay, app, always begin with app. And here I have the name, but you can also figure out right here on the top right. You can see, oh, okay, I have the amplitude slider. So amplitude slider, right? And just, oh no, this is not it. I don't want the variable to be the whole thing. I want the variable to be the property value, right? So if you come 1 second to
The value selected in the amplitude one.
yeah, the value selected. If you come to the inspector, right, the value right now it's 0. You can see here that the value is 0, right? The default it's 0. When you change that slider, it's gonna change this value. It's gonna change it. So we want to make a variable equal to that. Then we say, okay, I want to plot. First, I have to let know the GUI know the function where I want it to be plotted. So plot in the UI axis, that's it. Then I'm gonna do, all right, value, which is this value we got from before, times peaks. So once we have value times the peaks, that's all that's gonna be plotted. And you see it's gonna be something really, it's gonna look good. Now I want to change one of these properties. So the property app.UI access, there's, in UI access, I can change the limits that's somewhere inside of these properties, but I don't really want to change them by hand. I want the code to change them for me. So I come to app.UI access dot, it's gonna be ylim. I'm gonna make it equal to, so the way is just a vector with 2 elements. The first one minus 1,000 and the other one plus 1,000. You can put these values whatever you want, but it's gonna make our graph look the best. Okay, so now that we have it, these 3 lines of codes are all I need. You can run this from wherever you want. I just click run. Okay. Now that I click run, this is the app, but now I can interact with it. Okay, I can change stuff. I'm gonna hit plot. It's gonna take sometimes it takes a while. All right, let's give it a second. All right, you see, we have some plot. Now I'm gonna change it a little bit. Let's say plot. Yeah, it's taking a little while. Okay, now you see it's getting a little bit more, the peaks are getting a little bit more pronounced. That's because we're multiplying a higher value to the peak? Okay, no, this is something different. This is just, I changed the value. Let's put it close to 90, let's say, around here, and click plot. Okay. So this is a plotting function. So Thomas, were you able to get it? And William, were you able to open MATLAB? The lines of code again, or of course I can show you lines of code again. Here you got them. Value, remember app, amplitude slider, and value. Then plot, remember to put the first argument be the axis. And then value times peaks. MATLAB should recognize this function as, you know, peaks. And then app, UI axis, while lim, make sure you have the L in uppercase. MATLAB is sensitive to that. And then from -1,000 to +1,000.
So this is important.
Nice.
Do you want to show the slides so they can see better?
It works now. You didn't capitalize. Yeah, yeah. I always forget about that too. Don't mind. So.
Oh, and in the app you can also download the image.
The image?
The image of the pics.
Oh yeah. You can download the image of the pig, so let's not get into that right now.
Okay.
All right. So now that we got it here, just save it. And let's leave App Designer for now. I'm gonna leave my app too. Okay. So William, don't worry if you didn't get to that. We have another project coming on where you can be interactive. So just try to get your MATLAB working for that. Awesome. All right. How do you normally open the app designer? We're going to go through that. We're going to open make an app from scratch. Okay. So here is the project we're going to do. We're going to go right to the project. So we're going to make a GUI from scratch. Okay. All right. So what is this project we're going to go? We have a simple GUI with two different plots. We're going to have a menu. And you're going to say, okay, I want to graph this data in the time domain or in the frequency domain by doing a Fourier transform. So I have some data in the Excel file that's on the zip. And we're going to use that data to plot it. If you plot it right as it is, it's going to be, you know, some just some data we got. If in the other case, it's if you know you want to have the frequency, we're going to perform a Fourier transform and create a GUI that be able to toggle between these two and plot them. Okay, so it's going to be like this. We're going to select a file with the GUI, right? There's a function that can just open the file selector. and then we're gonna import some data. The data, we're gonna find our Excel file that's in the folder. We're gonna find it, and then plot time domain and the plot frequency domain. We're gonna plot them both, and we're gonna plot them depending on another menu, another element. So we're gonna have to read that element and make a decision based on those. All right. So it will look something like this. With select file, you're gonna open the file. Open the file explorer so we can search for the file. Here, this is just gonna tell us the path to the file. It's not showing the whole thing here, but you can see. Then we're gonna choose domain. We're gonna be either time domain or frequency domain, and then our plot button. And as a bonus, you see, we're gonna have each of them graphed at their own axis so we can see them better. Dual axis, that's gonna be something real cool. Okay, so where will we code? If you open MATLAB, a new app. So, William had to rejoin. So here's how you open a new app. You go to normally when you're in MATLAB, you're in the editor, right? Instead, go to home, the home tab, and open an app. Right here at the bottom, you see the app. Just when you open it, you're gonna have a blank slate of the app designer. So let's code this project. Let's go to MATLAB. Okay. If I am here in MATLAB, I go to my home tab, I click new, and I click app. And the app I want to choose is not going to be just the blank. What I want is the 2-panel. You can use the blank app too, but I like the 2-panel better so I can keep myself organized. So I click the 2-panel and it's going to open this. Okay. So let us know if we're going too fast, whoever you guys are doing this with us. We would love to do it with us. So if you need some time, let us know. And if not, let's just move on. Okay. So let me give it some space over here. Okay, the first thing, I'm gonna draw my plotting axis. Okay, you just can draw it out, and it's gonna adjust all the title, all the words. Okay, so the way I like to do it, I like to draw all the components I think I'm gonna need and then go do the code, right? I like it better than going back and forth, but you can do it anytime and any way you want. So first I know this button and I'm gonna change the name right from the bat. Let's see. It doesn't offer a 2 template. Oh, but yeah, because you if it's the same thing as last week, you still have the 2018 version. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna change anything. All right. So just open the blank one and leave it with these two guys. So here I'm gonna put a button that says select file. How did you place them again? You just get them from here and drag them. As easy as that.
Can you place the graph again, the plot?
The plot, just you get access and you plot them. Here we go. Awesome. So now if
William got it working.
William got it working? All right, William, tell us if you can catch up with this. We're waiting for you. So then I'm gonna add the text entry. So it's edit field text. And something with the, I'm not gonna need this this part, this title of the text entry, so I'm just gonna delete it. Just double click it, delete it. So I have a larger text entry.
How you did it again?
From William. Okay, William. When you're in MATLAB, I hope.
No, I think I think just that part of the.
Just here. Okay, so William, just drag the components you need. So when you want plotting, it's axis, right? So if you want a button, just put the button here. You know, I'm gonna delete it because I already put it. So whatever you want from here, just go and put it. What I have right now, it's two buttons, the one on the top, the one on the bottom, one graphing axis, and the text entry, with the text entry being right here. Edit, what it says edit field text.
Can you do the edit field text again and delete the name?
Of course.
That was confusing.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing. So when you bring an edit field, it's gonna bring it with a little title in here, but I kind of don't need it. So here is you know, the whole element. I'm gonna click again, just where it says edit field, and you see I'm selecting just the part that says edit field, and I'm just gonna click. See if I can right click, delete, right click and delete. There we go. Now I have more space for my text to fit. Awesome. Glad you got it. Okay. Awesome. So now what I want to add, it's gonna be the drop down menu, right? So this is the way I'm gonna be able to change between Fourier domain and time domain. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and say, I just come here and double click and say choose domain. Okay. Now that I chose the domain, I hit the choose domain. I come and click this, and I have the inspector. Okay. So if I have the inspector here, I have the items. Okay, I have the items property. I don't want them to be option 1 through option 4. I really don't care about those options. So I'm gonna just delete them, and I'm gonna put time domain, then click enter and put Fourier domain. As easy as this. And the value automatically, the default is the first one of my items. So I hope you guys would caught up to this. I just put a drop down menu, and within you can also edit them here, right? You can come here and edit them from the graphics, or you can come to the inspector, the property inspector, once you have the drop down menu selected, and change the items, right? Awesome. All right, I hope you guys are caught up. Let us know, because we're moving on to the callbacks. That's gonna be fun. You're caught up. Awesome, Thomas. Awesome, William. Let's go. So we go to the code view. Now we have again all this code that we cannot modify. That's the code needed for the app by itself to run. So I'm gonna go, the first thing I want is to select the file. You know, the file right here, that's the first thing I want. So I'm gonna go here and click select file button. Okay. I'm gonna go, instead of the inspector, I don't want it to change the properties now. I want to make a callback function. If I click this drop down, you know, there are some, if you have more callbacks, they're gonna appear here, but I'm gonna create a new one. So I just put add button pushed function callback. I just clicked on this and it's gonna create me my new callback. Awesome. And let's get it. There's this function in MATLAB that's called UI get file. Okay, so UI get file, it's a function that will open the file selector, and that function, it's gonna make my
Let's you select a file.
yeah, it's gonna allow me to select a file. So the way it has is a function with multiple outputs. So it's gonna be then first it's gonna be the path, no, the file name, and then the path, you know, the Windows path, you know, documents slash MATLAB slash whatever. That's that path. It's gonna come in this variable, and the exact name of the file is gonna come in this other variable. So, and this is not all. We can make something a little bit better for the app to give me something, you know, more specific from what I want. So I'm gonna put a string here, and the string, it's gonna be a star dot xlsx. So with this, it's gonna appear only, you know, by default you can change them, but it's gonna appear only files that end, you know, that the last part of the name of the file is .xlsx. So I'm gonna only see Excel files at the beginning.
So the extension of the file.
Yeah, the extension of the file.
And this is really important because you want to code your code to work in most of the scenarios. So for example, if you upload a Word document, your code will not know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's important to specify if you are working with source in a specific file
Yeah.
type.
So just we have the the Excel file, and now we want the file to be shown. We want the property of whatever it's written here to have the words of the file. Okay. We're gonna do app, right? And then we're gonna go to the name, which is gonna be edit field. This is this. Edit field is the name of this element. So you come to the edit field, and then we want the value. We want to change the value. And MATLAB also have a function that's called full file. That's just gonna, you know, it takes a path and takes that file name and puts them together. So we have full file and then path, comma, file name. All right, so what we did is just get the button to call the get file function, and then we want the text screen to show us what the name of the file is, the path to the file. So we just come here and click run, and in your case, well, in everyone's case, it's gonna ask us to save it. So I'm gonna save it as app project _SB, and make sure you have, you know, the ML app, the MATLAB app extension. And I'm gonna click save. All right, it's running. Okay, I'm seeing it here. I have all my buttons if I, click this, nothing happens because I haven't told MATLAB to do something with any of these guys. But now I click select file. It's gonna take a little a couple seconds to upload to catch up. Yeah, but don't stress out because, and here it came, select file to open. Mine is in dark mode, but don't mind that. It's just your regular file, the file selector, the file explorer. So I come in here, app data _ SB. I click open. Yeah, this is something that MATLAB has as a problem, that every time you do this, your app goes to the back. Don't worry, that's normal. You come back here. Oh, you see, I have the whole path, and then app data SB XLSX.
That's nice to have for you to check if it's the right file.
If it's the right file.
Or if you have the same pattern, you just want to change which file inside, you can just change.
Yeah, if I had another file, another Excel within this, I don't have to go again. I can just change the name of the file over here. Not the case, but okay. So the GUI works as it should right now. It worked. Awesome. I'm happy it did. All right. And we're gonna add one line of code right between these two. That's gonna be figure app .ui figure. Why are we adding this? So every time we select a file, our MATLAB figure comes back, right? That's just a glitch in MATLAB. This is a way to fix it. That's something we hope that future releases of MATLAB will have solved. Okay, so I'm sure this line works. Don't you matter? And we are done with the first one. Good. Now let's go to our next part. We're gonna go to the plot button, and here we're gonna take some time. Okay, if we come to the plot button, again, we're gonna add a callback. We're gonna add a new callback. This is the way you do to add a new callback. Just click this down and add a new callback. Okay, we got it. So the first thing we want, let me show you guys this. This is how the data looks. That's something you should do always, check out how the data looks. So you have time, signal 1, and signal 2, right? Similar thing as we did last week, just 3 columns. So we're gonna use the same variable we used last time. We're gonna go into MATLAB and say, okay, I'm gonna put time, comma, S1 for signal 1, and then comma, S2 for signal 2. I'm gonna make them equal to, and it's gonna be read vars. And remember what we did, Thomas, with yours, that we use the XLS read. If you can get that because you don't have this function available, that'd be good. And do the same thing we did here, read vars. And then what's the file we want, because you have here to put the name of the file. Oh, but we already have it. It's in this. Right here, this whole thing, it's the this whole thing will have the name of the file, right? Because it's what we put in the text. Yeah, I hope you guys get it. So when we hit read vars, it's gonna read from the file name that's in here. Awesome. Now comes something interesting. We have to make a logical statement. We want to have, all right, if you have this selected, we want something to be plotted. If we have that selected, we want something else to be plotted. So we're gonna do a if statement. So I don't know if you guys are comfortable with this, and if you're not, you just will be. So we make if, and the place, oh, better than that. We're gonna do that similar thing that we did before. We're gonna do a value, right? Let's say option, right? We have a variable called option. And that variable called option, it's gonna come from the drop-down menu. So the drop-down menu, we want to read the value, okay? So option, it's gonna be app, as always, dot choose domain panel dot value. Oh no, choose domain dropdown. I'm got choose domain dropdown dot value. So I'm gonna have a variable every time I run this function, a variable called option, which will have whatever it's reading on that part, you know, on whatever option I have selected. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the logical statement. I have an if option it's equal to time domain. All right. If I do just this, I may have a problem, and I can go to the problem in a while, you know, maybe after, if we have some time, but this can bring problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this function, strcmp, a string compare. So what it does is that it takes these two strings, these two words, and it's going to compare them. It's going to spit out as 0 if they are different or a 1 if they are the same. Okay. And similarly, else if. I'm going to put the same thing, else if, and the same condition, except that this time is going to be Fourier domain. So hope you guys were able to catch up, to follow in. So just an if statement, and we're just setting the grounds. We're not yet doing the plotting code. We're just setting the grounds for, you know, if I have the option equal to time domain, then whatever I have these lines of code happen. And if not, if I have the option to Fourier domain, then whatever it's here happens. That's what I want. Okay. So just guys, again, go to the chat if you think this is going a little bit too fast or your guys are getting lost. And let's go. So when I have these, I want to have, you know, the title, UI access, title.string. This is the way we change the name of the title. And we want to, you know, have the title when we do time domain be something in particular.
We can check just with the titles to see if everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me go in and check the X label. Oh, it's UI access dot X label dot string. And we're going to put time in seconds. Because we're in the time domain, of course. So I hope you guys were able to follow up to here, and we're gonna run. All right. So we ran our code to here, select file, and select app data, open. Oh yeah, you have to close the Excel to open the file. Yeah, happens every time. Okay, you see that with this line of code, I don't have to pull out these again. And then I have time domain selected, and I click plot. The titles should change, the name of the title. Can you see the code again? Of course you can. Here. Oh, it did. Okay, you see, I have the X label and time domain signal changed. Okay, so now we know if this changes, right, then, you know, these two labels, which are the only two lines of code we have here, are gonna change. Okay, so we're good. Awesome. Let's move on. I want plot. So the first thing, plot app.UI access, comma, time, comma, S1. Okay, easy as this. Just copy and paste these lines of code. So you have, you know, both lines of code. But there's something that will happen here. If I just click enter, it's gonna plot one curve and then it's gonna overwrite the curve and plot another one. That's gonna happen. So what I'm gonna do is I want here to hold on. That's something important. Hold on. I'm sorry, not just hold on. I'm gonna hold again. I mean, you can copy the name of the axis. That's just gonna make your life easier. Hold the name of the axis, comma, and then on. This is gonna prevent these the previous signal to be removed from your plot. Then you do the same thing and just click off. So hold on, hold off. It's just a way to preserve your plot if you're doing plotting in more than one line of code. After this, where do we go? We're gonna plot them right here. Let's just, oh, and let me make the Y label. So app, oh, I'm gonna put it here on the bottom. You'll see Y app dot, again, the name of the access dot Y label dot string, it's equal to, and we're gonna put here voltage in millivolts. Oh. Okay, so what I did is plot, hold on, plot, hold off, and the Y label. Okay, so I hope you guys can see it when I run it. All right, I'm gonna select the file, app data, open. It's gonna do this, it does every time. Time domain, plot. It's gonna read the variables. Oh, right. Okay. We see it. So they both begin here and you have some noisy data right here, and then you have some easily, you know, damped data. Okay, cool. But now they are in different scales. It's a little bit hard to see them where it, you know, it gets on this side. So we're gonna do the two-axis plotting. So I'm gonna come here. The function to plot, you know, in different axes is called y axis. And if you guys can let us know if you're following, that'd be awesome. Y axis, again, put the name of the handle of the figure every time, and then we want the first one to be left. Okay, so y axis, left, and then we're gonna copy this line of code and go here. Y axis before the other plot function, and we're gonna put right. This is what we'll do: y-axis left, and then y-axis right. This is gonna put whatever it's coming after here, it's gonna be plotted in the left, and whatever come after here is gonna be plotted in the right. I don't know if you guys have it inverted in my screen. Doesn't matter. So if we do here, then you have to copy again the label, so you have the same label on both. You know, the Y label. All right. Now that we got it, I hope you guys were able to follow. If not, let us know. Let's run it. We select the file, as we always do. We open the Excel file. All right, we make sure it is good. We hit the plot. All right, now you see it. It's a little bit easier to compare them now that each of them have their own scales, right? If this one goes from, you know, negative something to 1, and this one goes from -2 to 2.5. So this is all we need for our time domain. Awesome. Now, I'm gonna add this line of code on here on the beginning called CLA. It's gonna come useful after. I'm just gonna add it. Here, app dot UI access, comma, and I'm gonna put reset. So just add this. It's gonna come useful when and anytime we're changing between, you know, time domain and Fourier domain, it's gonna come useful. Possible to send the file again.
Yes.
It should be in the someone sending it right now.
Yeah, because I think when you disconnect, you cannot see it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see the chat when you disconnect. All right, no problem. All right, let's go to the Fourier domain. So here comes something a little bit complicated. Well, first, before the complicated, let's go through the names. You can copy the lines of code you see, you know, with just the names of the axis. Right, so this, it's just we're gonna change the label so we have the right units. It's gonna be frequency domain signal. Oh no, this is not power actually. It's amplitude in millivolts. So we have the title, it's going to be just frequency domain signal. The X label is going to be frequency in hertz, and the Y label is going to be just amplitude. Okay. So let's just run it until here, and let's see what we got. All right, we select the file. Okay, same thing as always. Now we are very good at this. I'm going to choose Fourier domain, not time domain, Fourier domain. I'm going to click plot. And let's see, it's going to read the data and should change the titles. Okay, so when I have this label, and this title changed to whatever I had here. So it works. When I choose Fourier domain, it brings me here. Okay, that's something good. I hope you guys are getting this. Let us know if you guys are catched up. Now, here comes something that's gonna be a little weird, but we made some code for you. So to make the Fourier transform, there's a little bit of code that's involved, and it's not hard. I found it in a MATLAB forum, but I don't want to get into that. So it's
Yeah, and
look.
you need to know
I
the
get.
math for it.
You need to look at the code from the time domain. No problem. Okay, so I hope you can. This is for the time domain. This is for the Fourier domain. So let us know what else you need. So just to let you know, in that MATLAB script, there is some code, right? We just didn't want to trouble you guys and make this much harder by bringing you different types of code and going into the awesome. I'm glad you're good. So there is this your Fourier code that has all the code you need to do the Fourier transform. It is already made for the, with the time and the S1 and S2 variables. So now you just need to copy and paste all of this code. If you guys are interested, you can go back to it and see what it does and maybe see if I made any mistake or, see if you can make any of it better. But if you come here, you just put the code and it's gonna be in this. MATLAB has this very cool thing that when you have these weird indentation, you just hit Control I for index, Control I, and it's gonna fix it. So you select the lines and click Control I. So what this does is it creates fs1 plot and fs2 plot. These are the variables we're going to plot along with the fv vector. Those are the variables we need to plot for our Fourier domain. So we come here and say, okay, I want to plot. Again, always use the app.ui access every single time, and then we're gonna go FV, which is our Fourier frequency vector, and then fs1 plot, then comma FV, comma fs2 plot. All right, hope you guys could catch up until here. And this is something that's just gonna make it a little different. You're gonna do there are two ways to do the same thing, but I'm gonna do it this way. Xlim, which is a function in MATLAB, app.ui access, and this is the handle of the function. And now I'm gonna put from 0 to 1.5. You can also go to the app.ui access.xlim, whatever it is, and change it. But this way, I'm just gonna do it here. Okay, so I hope you guys were able to catch up. If not, I will show the code again. So let's see how it runs. All right, I have this. I'm gonna move it onto here. So in case you guys want to see the code, select the file. I have my UI get file again. Open is gonna bring everything back. All right, so time domain. I'm gonna hit plot. Let's wait and let's see the same graph we had before. It's taking a little while. Let's give it a second. All right. Okay. We see these two signals in the time domain just as they came. So let's go to the Fourier domain. Now that I change, I'm going to hit plot. It's going to run the same code, but now it's going to go to this part of the code. part of the code that has a Fourier. So let's click plot. Let's wait a couple seconds. All right. You see, now I have the Fourier domain. So the blue one, it's for the blue line, the one with the damped, and the red one is for the noisy one. So guys, let me know if you can see this that I'm seeing right now. If you can't, just let us know. I wrote the code as, all right, so William got it, and Tomas, you wrote the code as I said, but you haven't been able to make the plot. All right, so are you sure that when you do the function plot, you are giving it the, and you change it based on your version? All right. Do you get an error? Go check on your MATLAB command prompt if you get any errors here. The same errors you should get in your regular code, they're gonna appear here, the same thing. Oh. All right, so the way, Thomas, that you should have it, let's see if you have the same way as I do. You should do should be temp for temporary equals to XLS read and the name of the file.
Oh wait, is app dot
Choose.
comma.
Yeah, when it says app dot in the temp, it's app dot XLS
Dot edit file.
edit field value.
Yeah.
That's probably what's making it a little bit complicated.
The rest seems good, right?
Yeah, the rest seems pretty good. Let's see. Let's see what's your error.
Can you copy and paste it here?
Let me run it this way and see if I have an error.
Hey, it's a little hard to copy it. It doesn't even let me. All it says is parse error at methods use method usage might be invalid. MATLAB syntax. Parse error at function usage might be invalid.
Can you repeat? I wasn't. I had my volume down.
Sure. It says parse error at methods usage might be invalid. MATLAB syntax. Parse error at function usage. It's just giving me a bunch of parse errors at the code that I didn't even write, the stuff that comes with the
Okay, so
I'm not quite sure.
The command.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, at some point, when you have a parse error, it's at some point you have, you know, a mismatched parentheses or a comma that should be where a point is, or you know, it's that kind of thing, you know, the way that MATLAB reads.
There is one more thing. Sometimes when you do app designer, you have the errors there, but like the errors keep in the common window without you deleting them.
Oh yeah, so can you go to the command window? In your command window, hit CLC and clear all your, you know, clear your command window, and let's see if the error comes again. So William, let us know if you got everything up to this point. I think you did, but just in case.
It says if might not be aligned with its matching end line.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So when you have an if statement, then it has an else if, then it should have an end. In my case, it came in automatically. So if my end, for example, is like this, right? If I change it, it's if I put it here, I'm going to have an error. You see, if might not be aligned with its matching end. So what I need to do is you need to put the end right in the same amount of spaces that the if is in.
Now it's saying terminate with semicolon, terminate statement with semicolon to suppress output function.
Yeah, just put the semicolons.
Yeah, I think that's more a warning.
Yeah, those are more of warnings than errors. So you just put semicolons after all your statements, except for this one, except for the conditions of the if, and you should be able to run the code now.
Okay, I think it's running now because I was able to open it.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're able to open, then you have no more
Can
parse
you
errors.
run me through using it again? So I was able to open the GUI now, so the app or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome. But what you say? You have this code running? Were you able to?
No, yeah, it's I was able to, like, it's the app is open, so I was just asking, can you run me through how to use the app
Okay.
again?
Just go to run, and then select file. Right. 1 second. Select file. It's gonna bring you your Windows File Explorer. Right. You just go to the app data _ Samantha Belen SB. This is what you'll need. You click then open. It's gonna shut everything, it's gonna change it, but then you're gonna have the path to that file plus the file in this text entry. Now you select one of these two, it's time domain already selected, and click plot. It's gonna take a while. You just check your command window and see you have no errors. And yeah, it takes a while because I have to read the data.
Mine finished.
You're finished?
Yeah.
And you have
Yeah,
this?
it looked exactly like that.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Perfect. Whew. Okay. So we head out of this. Just try it out. Yours. You don't have you don't have to close it. Just click Fourier domain and hit plot again, and check out if the code is running on there.
It's running, but is this? Can I see what yours looks like to compare?
It's just 2 peaks.
Oh, you close it.
Yeah, close it.
Do we have it here?
There's like one curved line and then 2 peaks. One is dashed and one is solid.
Oh yeah, you have the dash peak. Yeah, that's because of this. It's something with the y-axis function. you have to add this line CLA app UI access, comma, reset before your if statement. That's gonna reset the figure every time. So because the YY access messes up some functions, so just reset that function, reset the access. Just it looks like this. Yeah, I know what it looks like. That has some dashed line over here, going through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see the command again. So I can the UI. It's CLA app UI access. Yeah, now it looks right.
Awesome. Well, my friends, we have just finished our GUI project. So now that we did it, what is the next step? Right. So now that we did this very cool looking project that we select a file, we display the data. We have, for example, this. This is another project we made it. The video for it, it's online on our webpage. And this is some histological data, some cells data. And we have an image. And we can have these, you see at the bottom right, different processing images. We can do different processing options for the same image. And as the same thing, we have, some kind of menu, everything. So you can have a more advanced interface. You can have a GUI, an imaging GUI, right? Where you can do image processing. You can do app deployment. This app that we just did, you're able to, this is something good. If you come here to apps, you can come here, and this is the app I built. So now it is,
The imaging app.
yeah, now it's deployed in MATLAB. I can also deploy it to a desktop app. That's something that's also possible, and much more. The world of GUI, and not just in MATLAB, but especially in MATLAB, it's very broad and very useful. So plan your next step. As I said, we have this project onto the on our website, but there are many things, and you guys are here, and I hope that you guys are here because you want to learn MATLAB. You want to take MATLAB to the next step, and want to take yourself to the next step. So now, at this moment, I will leave you with Samantha to tell about what could be your possible next steps.
Okay, so in this workshop, besides doing all the technical parts to create our projects, we also have this planning part. We want to help you plan your coding journey, and we have break it down in 4 steps. However, we give you the workshop is in the zip file and also in the email. In the workshop, you have all that I'm going to explain, but even more detail and with more directions for you to plan your next steps. So the first one is to create a space and time in your calendar for MATLAB. In the part of creating a space, we did it at the beginning of the workshop, where we create folders with you. One folder for MATLAB, like MATLAB folder. Then inside that we had projects, practice scripts, and also functions. So that's important to do because you can do it now, and that sets you one step closer to having MATLAB integrating in your life and in your learning journey. The other one is setting a time to learn MATLAB. So how many hours a week are you going to spend learning MATLAB? How many minutes a day you want to spend learning MATLAB or to invest in learning MATLAB? So here you have your coding plan summary in the picture, and there you can fill out with all your answers to have a clear view of what you are committing yourself to become a successful project developer. And before in that workbook, it guides you to fill all these things out. Then the second part is find a project that motivates you. in the workbook, we have a lot of projects options that we have worked with, and we tell you a description of them. However, you can also look up some projects interest to you in your engineering field. The third one is break down that project. So this project that motivates you, you need to break it down into MATLAB concepts to make sure you learn everything you need to have a successful project. Here we give you some guidance. If you have little to none experience in MATLAB, we recommend you to learn these basic concepts. And besides that, if you already have some experience in MATLAB, then we recommend you to learn a specific MATLAB concepts depending on the project that you have. But all of that you are going to find out better in the workbook. And finally, and really important, is select the resources that will help you in this learning journey. Oh, what? Creo que se cerró mi...
Oh, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Come
that's
in.
weird. Okay. Okay. So the last one is select the resources that will be with you during this coding journey. And with resources, we refer to, it could be online free videos in our case. It could be even or workshops that we already have for free in the website that Tomas showed you, like this one. This is a free workshop for you, and it's a next level compared with the GUI that you did today. But besides that, you can also get paid resources. For example, books, online courses, and in our case, we offer one-on-one tutoring focused on a project that you want. So here, if you plan to become a better programmer with us, we are offering this one-on-one tutoring in which you select one project that motivates you, and throughout 3 sessions, we work with you and provide you videos between each session to help you with all the MATLAB concepts. And during the sessions, we work in a project that you want. So once you finish these 3 sessions with us, you can come from feeling kind of lost in MATLAB, like a lost student, to a successful project developer. And since you have been with us these 2 weeks in these 2 workshops, we want to provide you a 50% off discount for our MATLAB tutoring sessions. This will be available until this Wednesday. So I hope this helps you, and this is also part of your coding journey. And please feel free to ask any questions to us. It could be related to the MATLAB project that we did, or to the resources that we provide, the free and the paid resources that we provide for your MATLAB learning.
So guys, link, it's in the chat. You guys have access to it until Wednesday, and we hope it can help you guys through your thing. So, well, I guess this is the end of the Best of Basics workshop with IEEE. I'm very happy that we were able to have it. I'm very happy that you guys were into it and were able to get the GUIs, get the plotting project, get everything done. So I hope that you guys can become the programmers you want and can use MATLAB as a tool and not as a boring thing that the professors send you homework with. All right, so questions, guys. Do any of you guys have a question, have a comment?
Okay, and please do the workbook that we did for you. It's really good, and if you're committed with MATLAB, it will set you up like 3 steps.
3 steps ahead. A workbook, it's in the zip file. It's the other file that's not either the data, nor the app sample, nor the Fourier code. It's the other file. So make sure you check it out. It's with you. If you haven't downloaded the zip file, it's at the beginning of the chat. So if you guys don't have any other question, I guess we can call it off.
Yes, I think we are good.
All right, let's give any. All right, William, thank you very much for attending. First of all, we're very happy you're here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tomas.